hustling. In and out the door for every dollar, no discussing it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back. It is a Monday night, and Monday night means one thing. It is the USA Bassin Kayak Award Show. We're here for it. We're ready for it. Man, there's a lot to talk about. But before we get into it, let me introduce my co-host, the man that lives in a kayak down by the river. He pedals kayaks still. His legs look good. All the ladies stand on the shoreline and go, "Who is that man?" And the kids say, "There goes that man." The one, the only, the Jason Fat Cassidy. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, another beautiful snowy day in southeast Tennessee, Chad. Shout out to everybody dealing with the crappy weather across the country. Looks like from Alabama to New York is getting snow, wind, tornadoes, floods all in one day. It's kind of crazy out there.
Yeah, it's dude, it's been howling here since yesterday morning up in Indiana, and it has just not stopped howling. Snow's on the ground. You know, it was 72 and beautiful yesterday. Here we are. It don't feel like fishing weather no more.
No, but hey, I assure you, they were chewing this past weekend. They'll be chewing again this weekend coming up. So, just bear with us. Tonight's a great night to sit back, relax, and find a nice cold beverage and listen to folks talk about fishing. It's a little rough out there, but better days are coming, Chad. Better days are coming.
Well, dude, and there is not a better tournament to talk about than the tournament that we had over the weekend, because by golly, it was crazy.
Smashing them. I mean, plumb smashing them. 45 of the coolest dudes and gals from Texas. No, we had Kentucky, Alabama, Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, Maryland. I mean, everybody representing down there on Dale Hollow Lake, and it delivered. It appreciated the anglers coming out, and it showed out in a big way.
Yes, it did. I mean, and it seems like, man, it doesn't matter what is going on. Dude, if there is a tournament at Dale Hollow, man, these boys come.
It's wild. I just don't I don't think it's marketed well enough. It's just the allure of a world record smallmouth bass, or the beauty of the area, or some coffee. You know, there are so many great things about that area for there to be not a lot in the area. It's a really weird conundrum they got going on Dale Hollow, but when there's a derb, they show up big time. And whether it be in December, spring, summer, fall, it doesn't matter. Dale Hollow always turns out some big numbers. And for the USA Bassin Tournament, it was a phenomenal turnout.
It was. And it's always a phenomenal tournament. I don't care who's there, what trail heads to Dale Hollow. It's always a phenomenal tournament. There's always a ton of big fish caught. And, you know, a testament to that is the results from this past week. And I mean, these guys went bonkers on them.
Yeah, Chad, you had shared some stats with us, and I'm sure you're going to share it with the folks at home. Just the sheer numbers of fish that were caught was amazing. But when you look at how big the fish were that were caught, you know, the 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-inch class fish that went across the Bubba leaderboard on Tourney X was just like, I mean, mind-blown emoji, y'all. It was crazy. And, I mean, it's like a 15-inch anywhere else in America. You know, 18 and 19s are commonplace on Dale Hollow.
Yeah, and, I mean, dude, I like numbers. I just won't even lie, because, you know, the proof's in the pudding. Whenever you start talking numbers, you get to really see the entire layout and the scope of what truly happens. And with that, those numbers, I mean, they crushed. So to tell you guys at home, and of course I'm looking forward in the heat of the moment and can't see it. Let me see here.
We appreciate you. Chad is a little under the weather, folks. If you
I'm raspy.
Throat, you know,
it's all right. It It ain't nothing this cup of Tennessee whiskey can't cure. Ain't nothing
Smallmouth
that it can't
bass
cure.
ain't the only thing in Tennessee, is it, Chad?
No, it is not, and I'm
Come
well
on.
familiar. So let's see here. Where did that numbers go? I had numbers everywhere.
Yeah, co-host would have been better prepared to have the numbers for you.
So at one point, so here's what we got. We got 223 fish were caught overall total. 47 fish over 18 inches for the entire day. 19 fish over 19. 4 fish over 20. So, and actually there was one that went 21, but we'll get into that here in short order. So by the numbers, Del Hollow showed out pretty good. And, we didn't have the guys count the 17-inch fish. The judges' crew did not. So that if you go counting that number, it gets even crazier.
Yeah, I mean, 25% of your fish, 18 inches or larger is I don't know that I've really ever seen those kind of numbers in any state or any tournament for that matter. Those numbers are just mind-boggling. And when we get to our guest, I'm sure they can attest to the quality of the fishery that is Dale Hollow Lakes, and maybe we'll get some juice. Maybe we'll learn that that's commonplace for these big old brown and green fish down there.
Yeah, for sure. But let's go ahead as we break into this thing here. We're going to start talking about the tournament a little bit. That's why everybody's here. Nobody's here to see you and me. We're ugly. Let's just be it. It's just what it is.
Right. We're going to bring up that. Talking to Lane. We got 1,100 people watching live, so it's going to be a good night. They don't want to see us. And
here we have the Tourney X leaderboard, bud. So we're going to break down the top 10, and not to discourage anybody that's out of the top 10, but if you didn't have 88 inches, you wasn't in the top 10.
Yeah, which is awesome. Those are first world fishing problems.
That's first world fishing problems. And just to kind of add to those numbers just a little bit, if we're flipping down the Tourney X leaderboard here, we don't hit a 4-fish limit till we get down to 26th place. So that's 26 total limits caught on Del Hollow for the day. But let's go ahead and start with Michael Pippin, 10th place, 88 inches. His big fish, 19 inches.
Yeah. Again, he's got just 88 inches is such a solid limit in the kayak game. To put that up there on the Tourney X page, and to see you're all the way down in 10th place. It's a testament to how good the lake was in the competition on the lake that day. You had to bring your A+ game for sure to compete with these hammers out there on Dale Hollow last Saturday.
Well, and dude, when I was thinking, I was entering results in earlier today, and I got to thinking about this, and I was like, you catch that good fish in most places, and you're like, okay, I'm in this thing, I've got a shot.
Right.
Not so much.
No.
Not so much at Del Hollow. Not this week. So moving on up to we've got 9th place. 9th place, 88.5 inches, and another. Look at this: 19 and a quarter, 18 and a quarter, 17 and a quarter, 17 and 16 and 3/4.
Yeah.
So Chris Franklin, congratulations on a 9th place finish, and he come up from Tennessee.
Yeah, and I might
one.
be wrong. I might need to check with my host, but Chris Franklin, he's fished with us down here in Tennessee. We've already had a couple of derps, and with this tournament here, he might be our first guy qualified for the Classic on Lake Barkley this year. So
no, we've got a couple qualified.
Points. What's that?
We got a couple Indiana boys that are already qualified. We had that fall series, remember?
Oh.
Yeah. Well, and so 8th place, moving up to 8th place, Matt Turner. What's up, Matt Turner? 18 and a 3/4, 18 and a 3/4, 18, 17 and 3/4, and a 16. 89.25 inches.
Yeah. Very, very solid limit. 16-inch. Those pesky little 16s. Couldn't get rid of it.
Yep. And 7th place, TJ Allwood, an Indiana guy. The Indiana guy signed up, went down there, 20-inch smallmouth. Get that thing to load for you guys that are watching at home or that are going to be listening to this on Spotify. I know it's slow, but yeah, 20-incher right there, and brownfish at that.
Yeah, it's
So
got,
TJ
got
ended
that
up with
torpedo look to it. That's a nice, good kayak fish. Nice, long,
Yeah, it
skinny
is.
guy. Gets it done.
So TJ ended up with 89 3/4 to take home 7th place. So he's pushing 90 right there, and you're down in 7th place. Jared Matthews, talked to Jared Matthews a couple times off and on throughout the week. Shout out to Jared. He had an 18.5 was his big fish, and 90 3/4 overall for his limit.
That's consistent. 18.5 for the big fish, and your small fish is 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's tough. You're scratching it, trying to call out an 18.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal day, and you're only in 6th place. You know what I mean? Dang.
It ain't bad. So now 5th place, we're gonna bring on our first guest of the night, Nate Faulkner. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank y'all for having me on tonight.
Hey, man, no problem. Thanks for jumping in here. I know it's a little bit last minute, but congratulations, dude, on your 5th place finish. I mean, it's a heck of a day. 90 3/4 for 5th place, right there in the midst of things.
Yeah, definitely. Del Hollow, I love that lake. It's a great lake. It was one of my best days on the lake. It's just unreal how many people got in 90 inches this tournament. I was not expecting that, but.
Yeah, it was wild, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Where are you from, and what kind of kayak do you fish out of?
Yeah, so I'm from LaRue County, Kentucky. That's just a little bit south of Elizabethtown, so right in central Kentucky. I currently attend Campbellsville University and fish on the kayak team there. I fished in high school out of a bass boat, so switching to a kayak from college was definitely a change, but I've enjoyed it quite a lot. So I've fished Del Hollow quite a bit over the past couple years, and I've really started to figure it out, and definitely my favorite fishery in Kentucky right now. I've really come to love it.
Nice, man. Well, we're going to keep busting out some of these top 5, and then we'll get into the conversation a little bit deeper on how you guys were catching them and some of that.
Sweet.
So 4th place, Zach Wilson, again, 92 3/4, Jason.
What do you do with that? And that 92 3/4 mark, that is a phenomenal limit. And we had another angler fish down there that had the same exact limit, 92 3/4, that did not fish our tournament. So, he totally forgot about it, totally missed out. So just as a reminder for folks, when you go to sign up for tournaments, get in on that. You miss out on a little bit of paper scratch and some quality points, but he'll be joining us for the rest of the events. Young kid, 17 years old, has got a great future ahead of him. But 92 3/4 inches, that's when it really starts getting tight. I mean, you're super tight from 4th to 1st. It's one call makes all the difference.
One call literally makes all the difference from 4th. Well, I mean, one fish makes a big difference in this whole top 10. I mean, when you break it down and you really look at it. And, dude, I can't imagine. Like I said, when I was entering in these results and really going through it fish by fish, it's like, how do you not look at it and think, man, I've probably got it. But we've got a guy here in 3rd place that knows a lot about good fishing at Del Hollow. He's well-versed in the subject, always catches them as he goes down. Let's introduce our 3rd place finisher and tonight's other guest, Adam Reiser.
Hey, good evening, guys. Happy to be here with
What's
y'all
up,
talking
Adam?
about my favorite place, favorite lake, Del Hollow Lake.
Well, man, congratulations out of the gate here, man. 93 inches landed you in 3rd place for this one. And this beautiful 20.5-inch largemouth. just so happened to be the big bass of the day.
Yeah, it's a brown one there, but yeah, I found that one towards the end of the day there, and had a little bit of good luck come my way at the end of the day, and it made a difference.
Yes, it did, man. Yes, it did. So, Adam, give the folks at home a little rundown on you. Let them know where you're from and what kind of kayak you're fishing out of.
Yep, I'm new to Knoxville. I've only been here for a few months. I basically spent the last decade in Nashville, Tennessee. I fish from a Hobie PA12 360. That 360 part is what I would put a spotlight on. It makes all the difference in how I fish. I utilize it hand in hand with live scope these days, and I consider it just an absolute integral part of my fishing when I'm out there on the water.
There you go. I like it. Well, Adam, we're going to go through the rest of these fish here, and then we will get back and start breaking this whole day down and talking a little bit about the ins and outs of it.
Sounds good.
So second place, Jason, we had the one and only Jay Wallen. I'm sure a lot of guys out in the kayak world have heard of old Jay. 93 and quarter with a 19.5-inch smallmouth is his kicker for the day, but it wasn't the only one. I mean, he had a 19.25 right there behind it.
Yeah,
and Jay actually led the tournament for a good while.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I'm sure that didn't surprise very many people to see his name at the top of the Bubba Turner X leaderboard. Jay Wallen has been fishing since the inception of kayaks, it seems like. He fished out of a Hobie, and he's been on that pro staff for quite a while. Rocks Lowrance stuff, and he is a well-versed angler. He's got a lot of experience. He can do it dirt shallow, or he can get out there and fish offshore with the best of them. He had to head down to sunny Florida, so he couldn't make the podcast tonight, but we want to thank him for fishing, and he did let me know that he will be fishing on Cumberland coming up here soon for the Kentucky division. So no break for y'all in Kentucky. You're going to have to deal with these hammers, looks like, for the remainder of the year. So he might be on vacation, but he'll be back to work here real soon. But yeah, great finish for him. Just got edged out.
Well, and our first place finisher, he's having some technical difficulties, some technical issues with the podcast tonight. He's been in and out. He's trying to get in here, and hopefully we'll get him in here before the show's over to get a few words in. But Gary Freeman from Indiana, he came in and he come a rallying throughout the day. He pawed his way up the leaderboard and ended up leading this thing at the end of the day with 93 3/4 inches, anchored with a 20-inch largemouth. Heck of a catch. Beautiful fish. Not largemouth, smallmouth. You can tell I'm from Indiana.
Dad, you fished the White River, baby. Hey, you got brown.
I fished my White River, and that White River ain't the same White River.
No, they are definitely different.
They are definitely different. But Gary had a solid day, man. 20 inches, 19 inches. That one's a largie. I mean, and that's another thing to look at too. Like if you comb through this leaderboard, Jay had one largemouth. Adam had one largemouth. Gary one largemouth. Zach one largemouth. And then Nate here, he's got 3 largemouths. So, I mean, did smallmouth play a factor? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think having that mixed bag is, again, a testament to the quality of the water that, we're fishing. There's, big greenies, big smallies. I mean, you've got, I heard of a couple guys catching some spots, which we'll touch with the anglers that, fish that body of water and are more intimate with it. But it sounds like it's got a little bit of something for everybody. And depending on what you chase can definitely depend on what you end up with on that leaderboard. The smallmouth fish, if you're in a boat tournament, there's a very specific slot limit on Dale Hollow Lake, where if you're fishing a bass boat tournament, you can't target those smallmouth because they don't really do much for you. Because unless they're 21 or larger or little bitty guy, you can't bring it into weight. So for us kayak anglers, And perhaps maybe why we're seeing so many of those 18, 19-inch smallies is because they're kind of left, untouched. Unless you're drifting out there in a piece of Tupperware, they're not getting targeted that much. So that could be why we're seeing the numbers that we're seeing. But one thing's for sure, those numbers are freaking awesome, and Dale Hollow Lake is churning them out. And I can't wait to get into what these anglers have to say. Folks are going to learn a ton of stuff. I was able to attend the check-in for the tournament up in Livingston, Tennessee. Got to talk with a few of the anglers, and my mind's blown by some of the knowledge that these folks have. It's no, mind juggling thing that these guys win day in and day out. When you sit there and have a conversation with them, you just realize they're on a different level. You know what I mean? We're playing checkers and they're out there playing world-class chess, and it's tough to compete with these guys. So, Mr. Freeman, if you get on here, yay, you get your flowers, because you beat some absolute hammers this past weekend. And Chad, I think we should get into it. Let's get some of these nuggets out here.
Yeah, let the questions fly, bud.
Yeah. So first, I want to start with Mr. Faulkner. Is he still on here?
Yep, still here.
All right. You're a young man. You're in college, and I happen to pull up on the Tourney X page here, and I've got to ask you about your profile picture. What's going on there, guy?
Yeah, I'm a big trapper. I've done quite a bit of trapping growing up. I hunt a lot. And those are actually some furs. One of them is a coonskin hat a guy made for me. And then the same guy, I gave him both a gray fox and a red fox, and he soft tanned them. So they hang up in my dorm. And for media day, they just thought it'd be funny if I went and took a picture with it. So I thought it looked good. I'm not as cool as Matt Robertson. I saw him a few years ago with a big buffalo hide vest on, but I enjoy it. Looked funny.
I don't know. I think if there's a kayak version of Matt Robertson. Now, I'm not saying you got to go running around in your drawers anytime soon. But that profile picture, if Kid Rap and Matt Robertson had a baby, I think it'd be you, bro. It looks good. It looks good. So I
appreciate it.
Props. I appreciate you. That's a great attitude. I was like, hey, this kid's got a good attitude. I love it.
I appreciate it.
So you're in college, right? And
yes, sir.
So tell the folks at home how that college deal works. For us old heads, it's kind of new, right? So you started off in high school and now you're in college. How do you go about going to college and fish?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if I was going to go fishing college. I enjoyed it and did it all through high school, my freshman to senior year. And it was a good time. I didn't have any crazy tournament finishes, if I'm being completely honest. And Camelsville, I had good scholarship money coming into it. And then I got in contact with Dustin Jones and started talking to him. And we worked the thing out. I went and got a kayak from Dugout Bait and Tackle. And I'm currently fishing out of it. I forgot to mention it earlier. It's a PA 14 with the 360 drive. Absolutely love it. And yeah, so just that's how it kind of all started for me. It really just people that are looking to get into the sport just need to go out and talk to people. Don't be shy to send someone a text and get a team started or get started on a team, even if you've never done it before.
Heck yeah, man. And if it ever gets to that level, the NIL money is going to be flowing your way with a mugshot like that, brother. I can promise you. That looks pretty good. So getting into the tournament, obviously, you're in the area. How often do you get a fish on Dale Hollow?
I fished a decent bit. I didn't fish very much the week of. I got out on Thursday and then did some practice and didn't do real great. I fished 2 weekends before, and I had a good day one day, and the next day I fished a different area that I did okay in. So I ended up going to the spot that I did the best in. It was 3 weeks ago from Saturday, so it was a little bit old, but I figured if they were there 3 weeks ago, they'd be in there somewhere this weekend, and they were still there. Just had to bump into them.
Heck yeah. You want to get into, how were you fishing deep, shallow? You think these were all obviously pre-spawn, or did you have some spawners?
I think for the most part that everything was pre-spawn. Maybe there was some smallmouth getting up there to spawn that I was unaware of. I caught some fish on the bank. I actually filled my limit out on the bank, but I started scoping. It's what I'm comfortable with. I enjoy doing it. So I got out and I caught 3 fish. Not real quick, but it took a little bit of time or Saturday morning, and then I didn't know what was going to happen with the wind and if that was going to hurt the scope bite. Sometimes it helps it, sometimes it doesn't. So I got a little nervous when I checked the leaderboard and saw everybody had limits. So I slid up to the bank, filled a limit just to give me confidence that I had a limit. And then after that, I knew I had to cull out those 2 fish that I caught in the bank. They were both 15 inches. So I spent the rest of my day out scoping again. I found them not real deep. I did find some floating, but I actually found a lot of them on just brush piles and stumps and around 15 to 10 foot of water. They'd be sitting on them, and if I could get a jerk bait down to them, I would throw that. They didn't really like it when I paused that to rip it pretty quick. And then I also caught a couple fish on an A-rig.
Awesome. That's a great combination. And you actually utilize the Attorney X leaderboard. So you look at it and you're like, oh crap, realize you're behind the 8 ball a little bit. Call an audible, go get some, quick fish, small limit fish. To get an ounce of confidence is worth a pound in any fishing tournament, really. Everybody always says, confidence is your best lure. How would you say that you felt when you saw it? Were you like, was there like a concern? I mean, you're a young kid. How did your patience and maturity play into that? Because a lot of people would spin out. I'm an old head, right? And I don't look at the leaderboard, because if I see it and I'm struggle busting, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm checked out. So how would you, if you could give up a nugget on how to stay calm in a tournament situation, what would you recommend? How would you do that, especially at your age?
Yeah, it's tough coming from high school, just fishing bass foot tournaments. There is no leaderboard, so you don't have that. And it was different switching up to it. And I tried to check it not a lot during the day because it's easy to get spun out on. I tried to just every once in a while I'll let myself take a peek at it. But I don't know. It's like I have to trust my gut, and I'll be honest. I'll keep it real. I just pray a lot during tournaments. Sometimes, I pray and I'll ask the Lord for some clarity and help make decisions that are gonna help make things work out. But a big part of it was just getting that limit helped me go and live scope and be a little bit more confident doing it. I enjoy it, but just knowing you have a limit, and if you only catch one cool, you're setting a little bit better, and if you catch 2, you're doing a lot better. So just really getting that confidence and getting a limit kept me from spinning out, I felt like.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, God is good all the time, and power of prayer is nothing to shy away from if you're out there on the water anywhere.
Certainly.
Man, super kudos to you. And when you did see it, and obviously you know what you've got, were you surprised to see that you were in 5th place, or do you think you were going to be higher?
I'll be honest. I thought I was going to be higher, but they were on them, man. It was even early in the morning when I checked, before I even had a limit, when I just had 3 fish. I checked the leaderboard, and I was so impressed to see how many people were on them. It was just a great day of fishing all around, I felt like.
Yeah, because Jay had ran up that leaderboard to 90
Mm-hmm.
before noon.
Yeah. It's like he was shot out of a cannon. And are you going to be fishing some more of the tournaments with Kentucky this year?
Yeah, my goal is to hit them all. I'll be here this summer. I'll be in Kentucky, so I'm just going to fish around. Excited for the Cedar Creek one. Really looking forward. I love that place. Haven't fished in a ton, but the times I have, I've really enjoyed it. So looking forward to it.
Nice.
We're looking forward to seeing you on the Bubba Tourney X leaderboard in the future. I'm quite sure that your name is going to be up there, and I'm just excited to see your profile picture again. So,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And congratulations, man. Thanks for fishing with us.
Thank you.
Let's get Adam in here. And Adam, man, so, man, how'd your day look? I mean, what were you seeing? How are things breaking down for you as far as a pattern goes on the lake?
Yeah, I showed up with no practice. I barely even knew that the tournament was happening, to be honest with you. I was so busy and so inundated with fishing the national championship, the Bassmaster on Chickamauga and Nickajack, and you can blame Eric Thomason for making me fish this tournament. I can't remember who told me, but I think it was Friday at the check-in for that tournament. Someone was like, "Oh, Riser, are you fishing the Del Hall tournament?" I was like, "What Del Hall tournament?" I was like, "Oh yeah, Tin Cat's got one." And then I saw that it was a double dipper with USA Bassin. So I was like, "Oh, I'm probably not going to fish it because with the Classic, I live in Knoxville. With the Classic being in town, I was going to give some time to checking that out. Never been to the Classic before. And I was just tired from fishing all week. And so like, I was kind of thinking like, oh, I probably won't fish that tournament. And then I don't know if it was like Thursday or Friday came around, and I was like looking at the weather. I was like, man, weather's looking good. Like, looks like it was a bad day to practice on Friday with how the wind was howling. So I was like, I ain't missing out on anything for a practice day. I was like, man, I got no excuse not to show up. So I just signed up and showed up. And if I was going to show up to that lake with no practice, not knowing what the mood of the lake was currently, and since we're so close to transition time between pre-spawn and spawn, I went to the Lilydale ramp. That's where you have the most options, in my opinion. You can launch out of there, go any direction. It's the most contour saturated area. If you want to fish shallow, deep, it's all there. You have your most options out of that ramp, in my opinion. So I was like, since I'm going in, quote unquote blind, chose that ramp. And after the tournament, I got home and I did a little measuring on Google Maps. I think I covered 12 miles. Now, I'm not fishing all 12 miles, but that's how much I'd zipped around from, I'd say about a third of my fishing was hitting some old waypoints, but a lot of it was just going to contours and mapping stuff that I thought would look good and give me a chance to scope a minnow on a lot of these fish. And that was kind of my approach and game plan going into it. And end of the day, bite picked up a little bit and caught a few more fish, and it worked out.
Heck yeah, man. And obviously, going into a tournament with no practice can be pretty tough, but it doesn't take a whole lot of research to look on your stats on Tourney X and know you're quite familiar with Dale Hollow Lake and no stranger to first, second, third place checks day in and day out when you show up there. Now, I had the opportunity to talk to you at check-in, and, you are quite educated in the electronics game. If you want to, you can divulge a little bit, but, to me, your knowledge of how you see what you can depict what you see on your graph compared to what is going on underwater is just like next level, like Fisher and I type. No, I don't want that fish. I'm going to shake it out and catch this fish. How much time on the water would you say it would take for someone to get half of what your knowledge base is? Is it, because we all know time on the water is everything. If you were to give a, tech tip to somebody on working with the live scope or 2D or down imaging, what would you say is the best approach to learn it the fastest, if that makes sense?
I think my evolution into how I now approach Dale Hollow, which is my favorite live scope lake. It's hard for me to fish a tournament now and if not entirely lean on live scope, very much give most of my consideration to it. But years ago, if you look back, 7-8 years ago, there was a boat tournament where Jacob Wheeler, I believe, won on Cherokee Demiki rigging, and that kind of blew up the whole Demiki rig thing. And for those who don't know, Demiki rigging, you're basically dropping a white minnow straight underneath your boat using 2D sonar, traditional sonar, old school. It's like ice fishing, and you watch fish come up and eat it. I thought that was awesome. So I go back to, what was that, 2017, 2018, something around in there, if I'm remembering correctly. I wanted to apply that for kayak fishing. I was in a bona fide kayak at the time. The transducer hole on a bona fide is right underneath your butt, right underneath where you sit. Now, if you have a 7-foot rod and you're trying to Demiki rig right underneath you, you're 7 foot away from your cone when your cone is directly underneath you. And so a little famed story is I won a tournament on Del Hollow using a 3-foot ice rod, because that short rod would allow my Demiki minnow to go straight underneath into my cone better. And I could just literally hover over fish or a bait ball or wherever I thought the fish were, and they would come up and get it. And this was before, fish were getting live scope like crazy, so they're more prone to eat a minnow style bait. Myself, Russ Snyders, and Derek Bostic all did a Del Hollow tournament years ago where it was a 3-person team. And we got second place in the team tournament, and Russ did the best out of the 3 of us. He was Demiki rigging. He was doing exactly that. And it took effort to keep to where your Demiki rig wouldn't slide out of your cone, and it also wouldn't spiral while it's sitting there. You wanted to prevent line twist. So I wanted to get honed in on that style of fishing. Got pretty good at it. It did me good and won me some money on Del Hollow. And then when I finally bit the bullet, I was about a year late to getting into live scope. But once I finally got that, I just went all in on learning that. And it was a tough thing because the learning curve, it takes a while. You can waste a lot of time, especially in your first year or so using live scope, casting at stuff that's not a bass. So differentiating between species does take time. Learning fish behavior and all that, but it's invaluable real-time information that you get to take in from staring at these stupid graphs that we have. And in my opinion, Del Hollow is the best lake that I've ever been on as far as minimal amount of trash fish, so you're not having to question what species you're throwing at, the aggressiveness of the bass there, and the fact that you have I say 2 species, largemouth, smallmouth, because I rarely care or give interest to the spotted bass there. But when you have cookie cutter largemouth and smallmouth that your average size is 17.5 inches, that's awesome. There's a lot of places that the averages didn't start there. So if I'm showing to Del Hollow and I'm not putting straight 19s across a 5 or 3 fish limit, I'm below par, in my opinion. So the combination of a fantastic lake and a lake that allows for such good electronic style fishing year round. It's become my favorite lake, and I just feel coziest whenever I show up at that fishery.
Heck yeah. So with the limited amount of trash fish on, we trash fish I'm sure you were talking about like drum, gar, and the whatnots, but so you get to see a lot of times what you see on your graph at Del Hollow is a black bass species. So your learning curve is heightened and sped up because you get to see how they react and, to baits and whatnot. Have you been able to take what you see and how a fish reacts with being a lot of black bass, take it to another lake anywhere in the country and immediately pick up, oh, that thing's doing what it does on Dale Hollow, 95% chance that's a bass and not a drum or something like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, to break it down in simple terms, when you're staring at it on live scope or even 2D, they're dots on a screen, right? And how those dots respond or relate to each other, how far their spacing is apart from each other, how they swim up and vertically in the column versus how they swim horizontal in the column. This is all part of their typical behavior that they have traits of doing. Some fish are kind of similar. Catfish and walleye, if they're in the mix, can look a lot like bass sometimes. Even fish with stripes, your hybrids and stripers, they can look a lot like bass. And sometimes you got to put a bait in front of them and watch how they respond to that before you can really get an idea. If you're just staring at them before you fish for them, it's a little tougher to differentiate. But depending on how they relate to a cover, you can tell what a group of crappie relating to a brush pile looks like versus 5 spotted bass or something that are relating to a brush pile or something. But it takes time. And it's just tough because when you first get that technology, a lot of the guys don't have time to practice or fun fish on their own. So a lot of their time with that comes during practice leading up to a tournament, and devoting time to it versus fishing your traditional confident ways. You find that stride and balance between wasting time and evolving your knowledge and using technology for your fishing. So it's hard to balance that, but I know the first tournament where I caught, a 2-day tournament, 5 fish each day, when I caught all 10 of my fish using live scope, I was like, oh, this is cool. It makes me feel confident going into the next one that I can use that technology and not feel like that it's taking me away from opportunities to catch fish, but it's only helping me get more opportunities.
That's wild. Meanwhile, me and Chad see something blob on our screen. We're like, oh, we're chunking and
Yeah.
winding everything we got at it. As soon as I see something on there, I'm like, okay, whatever it is, I'm throwing at it. So obviously, you're next level, man. That got you into a third place finish. Quick side note, 3-way tie for the other club tournament going on, which you won that one, correct?
Correct.
You broke the tiebreaker, a 3-way tie. They had a 3-fish limit. And you broke the tiebreaker with the event's big bass, 20.5-inch smallmouth. That netted you $450 additional from USA Bassin. You want to go into that fish specifically?
Yeah, and I'll even tag on my next 2 fish that called me and allowed me to get that limit at the end of the day. So I was just scoping a minnow, typical stuff on Del Hollow, especially when the water's in the cooler temps. I was more focused on contours than I was like a specific bait or depth. And sometimes those Del Hollow fish will be, belly to the bottom, and you got to put a bait over to their head and they'll come off the bottom. Sometimes they're swimming up in the column. Sometimes they're swimming wherever the bait balls are. Back in December when we had a Bass Nation tournament there, both species, all of them were relating to the bottom, and the minnow would reveal them as they would come off. Whereas when I showed up there a couple days ago, the fish were up in the column. I got my limit with fish that were, not too far below the surface, maybe 10 foot below the surface, but maybe over 30 foot between the surface and the bottom of the lake. And then as the day went on, I know I'm needing to cull, so I'm only looking for bigger bites, like kind of what you hinted at earlier. I'm looking at a couple fish and going, you're not even worth casting that because I don't believe that you're that big or going to help me. Ran to one part, saw a little brush pile down there, kind of like a Christmas tree brush pile. Sometimes if I see a brush pile, I'll make a cast over it because those fish will be buried in it. You don't know, and the bait will pull them out. But I think I saw what ended up being my 20.5 fish. I think I saw it relating to a brush pile on a textbook spot, channel swing, end of a point. It was kind of deep. That guy was like probably 25 to 30 foot deep. He ate it. So I was stoked to get that big one because I knew that getting a fish of that size would put me in contention for a big bass and definitely help the limit. But it kind of made me want to find more brush or more wood, more like some piece of cover that these fish were relating to. So I went not far from that spot and found a few stumps and I think another brush pile too. And I noticed a few dots on it, a couple bass on it. Caught an 18-incher, which played in my limit. But I realized, I realized that fish was in spawn mode because it kind of chased my bait at first. I'm watching it all happen on live scope. Chased it away, went back to its stump that it was relating to. And so I was like, oh, even though the water temps are a little chilly, it is getting that time of year where the brown ones are looking to start going. And I was able to throw a fuzzy dice bait down there and just kind of keep it down there in its face and got that fish to go. Caught a couple more, came back to that same stump, and I caught either a fresh fish on it or what would have been the partner fish to that fish, but they were both 18 inches. But I could tell they were spawning. And so I was like, I kind of learned something because I've never really known at what point Del Hollow smallmouth begin to spawn. But this kind of clued me in on like what depths that they're willing to spawn at early and what water temperatures they're willing to spawn at kind of early in the spawn. So I learned a little bit in doing that. But I am convinced that 2 of the 3 fish of my limit were spawners.
Wow. And that's a scary thought to know that you're still out there learning stuff while you're taking
Every day.
Money. That's scary.
Every time.
That's scary man right there, folks. That is awesome. And you threw the fuzzy dice game at him. Did you want to divulge on which one you threw? I mean, it's all the rave these days. All the kids.
Yep. I am way late to the game. I'm only about a week and a half into that. Now, I say that, and then like 2 summers ago, me and Russ Snyder's were making our own fuzzy dice baits because I lived with Russ for years, and Russ lives on the west side of Nashville, and there's all kinds of cool little summer float creeks that are ankle deep that we love catching smallmouth out of. And when we learned about this fuzzy dice thing, we just made our own and saw the fish responded to it. But I was like, I don't know when or where to apply this to my tournament game. And then I found out, we saw just a few weeks ago with some of the boat events, how, guys are winning them on the koi keys and these urchin and wild looking JDM baits. And So my mind was blown a little bit by that. Is my understanding that anglers like Bankshaw and others that just railroaded their season last year were leaning heavy on the dice style baits or the fuzzy baits. And so especially after that dude won it down in Texas on the Koike, I ordered 2 Koikes. And the first time that I threw one was this past week at the championship on Chickamauga. And my first day of practice using it, caught 15 fish on it. And I had the bigger size too. Had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to rig it. I didn't know how to fish it. I just wanted to put it in front of fish's face and see what they responded to it, and they responded. So I knew that whether it's them just not being like, obliterated with it, and it's kind of a new thing, and it just looks like a food item. I don't know, but they definitely responded to it a little bit. And so at the championship, like I'm asking around because I'm starting to feel like I need to get a few baits to incorporate into my tournament strategy for that championship, and I ended up sucking, so it didn't matter. But Bailey Egbert loaned me, I think it was the Yamamoto Uni is the one that I caught him on Del Hollow. He gave me some other one with a crazy name, and it broke off, or it didn't break off, but it got slung off at Del Hollow. And so I just had the Uni. The Koike that I have is just massive. It's too big. I wouldn't feel comfortable throwing it on Del Hollow, especially for brownfish. But the Yamamoto Uni is what I was using, but it's not because I know anything about that bait or I believe in it. I'm just as green and new to these dice, fuzzy baits as anyone else is. I'm late to the game on this. I used to pride myself in being ahead of the trend, but that is not the case with this. So I am still very much in the experimental phase with this as far as rigging and presentation, but I just wanted some kind of non-invasive, subtle bait to put on this stump that I saw, about 12 foot deep, that I saw these fish that I was like, I got a feeling they're spawning. So what kind of just shake in place in front of their face. And in this case, they ate it off the bottom, but the week before using the Koike, it was, fish were eating it up. So I'm still learning, but that's what I was using.
Yeah, better late than never.
That's awesome.
What I mean? Seems like it paid off pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It gives me some ideas and some confidence for using it going ahead here. And obviously you have to, if that's what's, cashing checks in a lot of tournaments.
Absolutely.
Now, as we flip back here to the big screen, is there any questions that you guys have for each other? You guys are free to ask each other questions.
Man, I'm bummed Gary's having trouble getting on here, because it was my understanding, that ain't confirmed, but it was my understanding that I think he and I went out of the same ramp, and I think he just went left, whereas I went and motored over to some contours and everything. So if that is true, I'm not surprised that he did what he did out of our ramp, but I'm just curious as to his techniques or what he did. But big congrats to him either way, because obviously did a good job out there. And y'all were hyping up the limits and the fish that were caught in this tournament earlier. I thought the lake underwhelmed for this one, actually. But that's just by the standard that Del Hollow has, not for all tournaments in general. But Del Hollow is such a special place and has so many. It's littered with quality size fish everywhere you go. And the more that I learned about it and the more things that I kind of unlocked, the more my standards are raised in that place, especially when you approach it from a tournament standpoint.
Do you think that the world record part 3 is still out there?
I don't. I think that scientifically, when you get past the tropic upsurge, I'll let y'all Google that and learn about that later. But once you get past that point, I think you're ruling it out. But I agree with a lot of people that want to have a conversation about the world record smallmouth, that Pickwick Lake still stands a decent chance in the tail race down there being the place that could kick it out. Other than that, I think you probably have to go sniff around some of the trout, the trout smallmouth fisheries out west to give yourself a shot. But man, those old school, those Billy Westmoreland limits and records that are from back in the day, I don't think you're going to see those again out of Del Hollow. Doesn't take anything away from how fun and great it is to catch brownfish there, but I don't believe the world record's going to come from there.
Well said.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that the spotted bass in Del Hollow is playing a role in that? I heard somebody talking about that a while back, and I don't have any information on that. I didn't know.
It sounds like scientifically spots are just kind of bad for mixing with brown or green fish, that they're kind of bad news. As fun as they are to target, especially this big Coosa or Alabama strain spots, that's some of the most fun fishing, but I ain't no scientist, but my understanding is that they're kind of bad news if they start hybridizing with some of the other species, and especially if you already have some trophy class brown or green fish, that can kind of be bad news. But I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also been said for the Florida strain bass hybridizing with some of the northern strains. You know, it can make a fish that's just really tough to catch.
Yeah, tough fisheries, no bueno. I mean, we all like to catch fish, but yeah, I would definitely, and going on to that, you know, just as a small segue, if you're out fishing a particular body of water, you know, do yourself and everybody around you a solid. Don't transport fish from body A to body B. It's savage. You don't know what you're doing. I promise. You're not the biologist in the situation. You might think it is a cool thing to stock your local honey hole with a bunch of spots, but yeah, you really put the whole thing into a pickle whenever you start messing with that. So don't move fish, peoples. Leave them where they're at, or cook them. Either way.
No, but the information that you guys brought to the table tonight is absolutely outstanding. I think listening to both of you, I think the guests tonight definitely took something home. If they didn't, then I don't know what to tell them. Yeah, Jason, you got anything?
Yeah, my notebook is super full. Before we get these guys out of here, we'll give them an opportunity to thank any sponsors and all that good stuff. But we've got Cumberland Lake coming up for the Kentucky folks next.
Yeah, the 11th. Actually, it's coming up. So we've got
weeks.
It's going to be like I posted, and it was the hits just keep on coming, and I'm telling you, it's wild. We've got Nickajack this weekend, and then we're back at it again in Texas this weekend. Turning around, we've got after that there was another one. Oh, the Susquehanna kicks off. Yeah. So we're going to be up there.
It's going to be fire. It's a great.
And then it doesn't stop rolling. Which is really amazing for the opening of the USA Bassin season, how these events are stacking up. I don't even know how to describe what's going on. It's just it's just awesome. It's like we planned it this way, but I'm telling you, none of us planned it this way. It just rolled out this way with all the different directors.
It might be scheduled, but it's definitely not planned. But Mr. Faulkner, we'll start with you up there, and just let us know if there's anybody you want to thank or anything like that. The floor is yours, man.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Dugout Bait and Tackle. They take good care of the team. Also, Dixie Custom Rods. They're one of our sponsors in Spro. I'd like to thank all of them for their support that they give us. And I just want to thank y'all for not only having me on tonight, but also for starting the kayak trail back in Kentucky. Really missed out last year not having a trail, so I'm excited to get it going again and looking forward to some fun tournaments.
Well, Nate, I appreciate you jumping on here last minute. I know you got a text message at random, and it was just like, hey, if you want to come on, come on.
It's no problem.
I appreciate you jumping on here tonight, man, and you brought a lot of knowledge and a lot of fun. It's good to hear and see the excitement of a young angler, and we're happy to have you fishing with us, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. Thank you.
Adam, how about you? Anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors to shout out?
Yeah, sure. I'll just thank you guys, the directors, the organizers, the wranglers of this thing. You field a bunch of stupid questions from anglers like myself on the reg, and you provide a opportunity for us to go out there and have fun. So it starts with you guys. Appreciate it. Shout out to Gary and Juicy J. Wish they could have both been on, and they fish better than us did. So I would, props to them for doing a good job out there. I'll basically echo what Nate said, man. Dugout, they're not just a tackle shop, man. They support the industry in a lot of ways. They're ahead on innovation as far as rigging goes, and then just as a tackle shop, they got it all there. So Dugout Bait and Tackle is a very big deal. Hobie kayaks, like, dude, I got the option to fish in all kinds of kayaks, and I'm still going to choose my Hobie with the 360 drive. At the end of the day, it just haven't found anything better, and so until then, I'm going to stick with that. I'm not even officially with them, but Hobie eyewear has become the only thing that I'll strap on my eyeballs now these days, whether it's the polarized stuff or I'm wearing like the prescription frames right now that I've Used to be a glasses wearer 20 years ago. Now I'm back doing it again, just because they have the opportunity to clip on these cool little polarized things for when I want to sight fish or have a day on the water, and I can still wear my prescription lenses. So Hobie Eyewear, definitely cool. They're doing a lot of cool stuff for us right now too. It was just cool to see everyone at the Bassmaster Classic this weekend. I'd never been to a classic, and seeing the enthusiasm behind like bass fishing and the head count that can bring out. Not gonna lie, it's kind of inspiring and really cool to see that many people are pumped up about catching these silly fish that swim underneath the water. So it's invigorating to get out there and fish. Spring's around the corner. We're starting to shed our layers here, and fishing's going to get real good. And I guess lastly, I'll say that I still do guide trips. So if anyone wants, and most of my trips do emphasize on the electronics. It's what I get excited about. I don't keep any secrets. I let it all out whenever I take my clients out, and I'll drive anywhere from. I've been to Lanier, Gunnersville, Del Hollow, all over Tennessee. So wherever you guys want to shove a kayak in the water, I'll get out there and have a good day with you. But that'll do it for me.
Heck yeah.
Oh, and tell everybody where to find your guys' pages on social media. That's always a big one.
Yeah, Adam Reiser Fishing for me. Make it easy.
Mine's just Nate F, and I think it's 0897, something like that. But it's got CU kayak fishing in my bio. You'll know it's me.
There you go. I'm going to drop you guys down below for a second. If you guys want to just hang out for a minute, Jason and I will close out the show, and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Man, some hammers, man, and some great knowledge. And I think I'm going to take old Adam up on that guide trip. I could
You'll bring
use
him up
some
to Indiana,
electronic
ain't
studies.
You'll bring him to Indiana. We can come up here.
Oh yeah, if he could scope you up a good limit on some of them Indiana waterways, yeah, he's worth every dime he charges. I promise you that.
For sure, for sure. No, it's an amazing conversation here tonight, and we hope you guys at home really enjoyed it. That's why we're doing these things. It's not only just for the anglers; it's for you guys at home. It's spreading the knowledge, getting more eyeballs for the anglers so that they can promote their brands and the different things and talk about these tournaments. And it lives on. So check these events out, or these podcasts, or whatever you want to call them, out on Spotify, Apple Pods, YouTubes, Amazons.
It's the world's best awards show. I mean, it
is.
Five people at a boat ramp. You've got that memory in there for about 5-10 minutes, and everybody goes home if they show up to the boat ramp, right? Well, With this platform, it's evergreen, baby. It's out there on all the interwebs, all the social medias, all your streaming spots, so you can see it a week from now, 2 years from now. Your grandbabies can watch it. It's a really cool platform to give anglers the opportunity to shout out any sponsors or just something to go back in the memory banks and look at. Like, oh, remember that one time I had a really good derb on Dale Hollow? There it is. It's a really cool, fun way to do it, and I appreciate Limestone Media and you, Chad, for putting all this together. It's really cool for the anglers. Really cool.
It is. It's amazing. It's fun, and you and I are enjoying it. We're learning as we're moving along through it, and can't ask for a better show. I'd like to tell you guys that you're not going to see our ugly mugs again here next week, but guess what? You are. We'll be right back here next Monday night doing the same thing. Jason's going to square dance. I'm going to randomly talk about stuff that doesn't matter, and we're going to be here.
Yeah,
Monday night. Come back and see us.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Lake Nickajack next week down here in Tennessee. And is it Big Guy to Derb on Du Bois?
Yeah.
Lake DeBars? Some new hotness.
I don't know how to say it.
Are we doing a double show? We got two shows?
Doing the double show. Next week will be our first double show of the season.
Yeah, bring your seatbelts and pour an extra pint, because it's going to be a doozy.
We're going to have to talk a lot faster. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, let's go Bassin.
Let's go Bassin.
Good night.